Welcome to Season 2 of Producer Points. My name is Justin Gamella, and I'll be your host. I'm a producer and songwriter who's had the honor of working with some of the best in the industry. This season, we're diving even deeper into one-on-one conversations with producers, mixers, songwriters, and artists, exploring their unique journeys, creative process, and insights that shape great music. Join me for real talks, straight from the studio, where music and life intersect. This is Producer Points. Hey gang, so you're going to notice at one point in the podcast, my voice and mic sound drastically changes. We had some technical difficulties. I did not realize that my mic just decided to stop recording itself in the middle of the podcast, and then I eventually noticed and fixed it. So that's why I'm going to sound not so great for, a good amount of this podcast. So apologize for that. Anyway, here's the pod. Welcome to another episode of Producer Points. We have another roundtable episode for you guys. This one is on day one bounces. For producers, there may be no moment more stressful or more critical than the day one bounce. It's the version everyone hears first, the one that gets sent to the artist, their manager, the label, and the A&R team. The one that might get played in a car or in a meeting that decides the fate of the song. And even if it's not the final version, it feels final to everyone else. That first bounce can make or break a record. It can open a door or quietly close it. And as producers, we feel that pressure. It's a moment where speed, instinct, and polish all collide, and we're constantly chasing ways to deliver something that hits hard, feels exciting, and still leaves room to grow. And let's not forget Demoitis, the emotional attachment that starts with that first version. Once people fall in love with the demo, it's hard to change course, even when the final mix is technically, quote-unquote, better. That means your day one bounce isn't just a draft. It's the foundation of how people hear the song forever. So, when is it actually better to send a fully produced day one demo? And when should you hold back and just send a top line over chords? What's the smarter move creatively and strategically? Today, we're digging into all of it. We have two amazing guests. I've worked with both of these producers. They're both incredible producers and songwriters. Our first guest is a Juno-nominated producer, songwriter, and artist who's also the founder of Colossal Records. Known for her multi-genre versatility and thoughtful approach to collaboration, she brings both creative instincts and business savvy into every session. Kayla Diamond, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our next guest is a Nashville-based producer, mixer, and songwriter whose credits span pop, indie, rock, and R&B. From working with his own band Loyals and artists like John Harvey to crafting emotionally resonant records, he's a thoughtful and dynamic force in any room. Andrew Gomez. Dude, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I always want to start off this with, our listeners might not know what is a day one bounce. That's such industry lingo. We're so used to it. I want to start by defining that term. What is a day one bounce? For me, day one bounce, it's not necessarily the day, like I'm bouncing it day of, but it's that first bounce, right? But the day one bounce can also mean to a lot of top liners and a lot of artists, like they want that bounce at the end of the day because they want to have something that they listen to at the end of the day. So in reality, I'm like kind of contradicting myself, but a day one bounce is that day one bounce. I just kind of like use that term a little bit wider to save myself some grace. And I'll explain that later on in the podcast. Kayla, what is a day one bounce to you? What's your definition?
Ooh, there's so many different things because there's the day one bounce, the rough demo, the work tape, right? Like there's different things you can name it. And I've seen a lot of producers go V1. I try and stay away from V1 because that's indicating that there's multiple versions of it. For me, the way I see a demo is my first experience with a demo was when I was an artist. So I got to experience it from the way, my artists see it. And so when I would be most excited about it is when I would get it that night from the producer. He'd be like, okay, leave it with me for a couple hours. And then I'd get it at night and it would be this polished version. And as sort of a new artist, I didn't necessarily think it would need to be changed. And I would be like, this is amazing. And I'd be like, this is incredible. And so I noticed a pattern when I was an artist that the more finished demos, the more polished, I would say 80% of the way there, maybe not vocally, but the producer took the time to like use vocal line and like polish up the vocals and do some production there, I would get hyped about that more. And those would be the ones that I would be more excited to show the label. So I kind of implemented that in the way I do sessions where like I understand like as a producer, people, it's taboo to be like, this is a competition, but this is a fucking competition.
Yeah, of
like,
course it is.
I know how many sessions my artists are going into. And when they put that track in and they're hearing it for the first time and they go, who did this? I just like the way I gauge it is like, okay, do I want my name attached to it? Then it's got to be absolute fire and I won't send it until it is. But I try and work speed into it where it's sent within 24 hours so that they could be like, wow, I can't believe she did this within 24 hours. Who knows what the final is going to sound like? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm actually like in the middle of doing that right now from the session I had today. So I'm like, I also like, to me, like if I'm going to send just a vocal and a piano or a vocal and a guitar, that to me is like a work tape and I'll make sure that it's called work tape. But day one bounce for me, it usually says demo and it's usually about 80% of the way there.
Love that. Andrew, what about you? What's your day one bounce definition?
I think Kayla hit it pretty right on the head. I think for me, if you do a write with me, you're likely going to get either a work tape, which for me, I guess the work tape would be maybe it's a thing where maybe the song took a little bit longer and most of the session to get right correctly. So maybe the production part didn't have as much time. Maybe it's just like literally one scratch vocal on like a decent produced track. I would call that maybe more of a work tape. But typically my day of demos, when I actually market a day of demo, or I'll just put like Gomez demo day one or version one. Usually I put V1 just for like, because when I put like Gomez demo V1 or whatever, it's not, it just means that we'll probably go and tweak, and then the V2 will be like, there'll be a little more down the line. Or I usually put the date. I've started to do maybe the dates a little bit more now. I've changed the way I format it for a long time. I'll say a work tape for me like could be just like it's not, the demo for me is like, hey, this is like maybe like we're talking about like maybe like a 70-80% production, like the vibe. This is, we're very comfortable with this. We all love this. The artist loves it. I love it. The writer, everyone's stoked. It's like, it's the thing. It's I forgot who said it on one of these other roundtables, but it's like the business card, like how like the day one demos are kind of like the producer business card. Well, like you were saying, Kayla, it's like, I'm very aware too of, other people that the artists I work with are also writing and other producers are working with. But, that's why it's so important to get these right and to get the day ones, solid. For me, like the window of a day one, I think closer yet, a 24-hour period. Sometimes things are going on, I'm married, some people have kids, like there's life things can get in the way. But typically when I mean a day one, it's like whatever is I'm sending you is what we did in the first day. Even if I send it to you a day or so later when I can actually finish it, it's the vocals are from the first day. A lot of the big ideas are from the first day. So it's all about that first impression. Really, a day one's just the first impression, whether it be a work tape or anything like that. And like you said, very, very important to get a good first impression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that to me too is with the day one version, right? Quote unquote, is I'm not putting too much time in the production. That's exactly what you said. It's like, this is what I did in the production, like day of, and you want it quickly. So this is like how you get it quickly. Like I'm married. I have 2 kids now. Like I'm busy and I've learned to give myself a lot of grace and let go of I mean, it's anxiety, the anxiety of being like, oh man, these people, they want that demo right away. And like some people are pushy, like, it'll be like the next morning and it'll be like, hey, so about that demo. And it's like, I literally haven't even sat at my computer since you left yesterday, kind of a thing.
I haven't slept yet.
Yeah. Well, it's like, for me, it's like most of my days, like I'm ending my session and I'm going inside, spending time with my family, and I'm not back in the studio until like, which I know is early for most producers, but I'm not back in the studio till like 9-10 o'clock the next morning. And like, I don't work on the thing until I go back in. I've been a lot better about not overpacking my schedule. And this is another day, how you get day one bounces out. It's like, don't overbook yourself, where it's like you're just like
Huge.
and like because the
Huge.
second it starts to pile up, it's like you can never catch up. And
Yep.
so basically I'm able to get stuff within like 24, 48 hours now, because it's like, cool, I have time. I don't have like a bunch of stuff I'm doing. And if I do, I will go be like, okay, this session next week, like it can be moved. Like, let's move it. So I'm not going to like fall farther and farther behind. And that's just from experience of having done this in LA for like, Jesus, 10 years now, of just like doing the sessioning and understanding and, you know, prioritizing my mental health and my time with
And
my
you're gonna
kids.
get better. You're gonna get a lot better results when you do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And
always.
and I've also changed, you know, personally, I've changed my priorities, and this is kind of a segue into the next thing. It's what am I comfortable sending in a day one bounce? Like, what for me are like, you know, the 2 or 3 things that I'm checking off that make me say like, okay, I can send this, right? For me, unless it's like usually for pitch records, I'm a little bit less picky about a vocal, but let's say it's like with an artist, right? I'm always making sure that vocal sounds phenomenal. Even if I only got 2 takes, I usually try and get a lot more takes to at least, because like, you know, people get attached to that first vocal. I want to get as many takes as the artist will let me. I'm making sure that vocal is fucking great. And
You do a good job at it too.
Thank you. And so I'm like, that's my number one priority. And then everything else is like, cool, I don't have the time to build this up, but I'm going to make sure that all the parts that are in there also sound good. So at least it's like showing off my chops as a producer and a mixer, where it's like, okay, we can tell this is not done yet, but damn, like the 4 parts in here sound good as fuck. And I'm also, the third checklist for me is I do look at my lefts. I make sure I'm, you know, depending on how far in the demo is, right? But I try never to never go below like -12 lefts. If it's like really raw, and if it's like a more like I did a lot of work day of, like I'll try and get it to, you know, 8, 7, 6 lefts if I can, because that does matter. People like louder music. It is what it is. You know, Andrew, I'll start with you. Like, what are some of the things that you're like, okay, I got to make sure I hit these points before I send out a record to the artist or the team?
Such a funny question to me to process, because these are things I actually don't think about. When you do something for so long, you just kind of like, you just are doing it and you don't have and that's why I love like conversations like these. It's a classic, like if you're going to tell someone something or teach, like it means you're reaffirming what you believe, which is always a great thing. Right. But for me, yeah, vocal always very important. Now, sometimes, you know, like I said, in a lot of my writes and what I'm more in the last couple years or so, a little more, I guess, focused on the writing part, because I know I'm gonna, if they like the song, I'm gonna likely produce it anyway. I mean, it's almost a given. So that stresses off my back. I guess the best example would be, I think for me, that they answer this really well is if it's someone I've never worked with before, and because that is also a lot of what we do.
That's a huge part of it. It's literally a huge part of the
speed dating. It's literally speed dating. It's speed dating in music. Are we good in the room as far as like collaboration, ideas, and stuff like that? So for me, my day one priorities are, in an ideal situation, which is most of the time, but not every time, that the song is written in a decent amount of time, and there's a good couple hours or something or so to like really focus the production. Yeah, absolutely. Vocal is most important. And I've done the thing lately where it's like, instead of doing what I used to do in the early 2010 or God, what decade is it? Early 2020s, where I was like doing like the full like production more or less before we cut a vocal. I'm doing like just enough to get a vocal. Yeah. And what just enough means for me, you know, a lot of the stuff I've been doing the last few years and I've kind of become known for is like the alt stuff, the rock stuff. Get the template good, get it ready. Get the template, have everything there, and that is so much of time saved. But like also get it to where I gotta have a beat, I gotta have guitars or the main instrument. It could be piano, it could be synth, it could be a 4-bar loop that I just dress up a ton and it sounds more than a splice loop or a loop I have in a folder. Just get it to where I can get a really compelling vocal, and I want the vocalist to feel like they can also dynamically deliver with what's there, even if it's not finished. Like they need to feel when things are big or when things are small. And then what ends up happening about, I would say 80% of the time, is a lot of those day one vocals end up just being on the final. because I can also dress up the production around that vocal too. Yeah, the vocal is most important. So getting where we can get it to where the vocal can be good. That's all that matters, in my opinion, because that's what's going to sell the song to the artist is the vocals sounding amazing.
Yep, the artists are 99.9999% of the time,
or they're really musically inclined. They love a beat.
Yeah, but they're still for the most part, like so many of them are listening to their vocal first and sometimes only their vocal. And that's like if they don't think they sound good on it, like it's sometimes hard for an artist to sometimes hear that like I can sound good on this if they don't think they sound good on the demo. That's why it's so important. Kayla, what are you kind of like trying to hit before you're sending a bounce out?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Andrew. I think the vocal is super, super important for me. Structure is incredibly important as well. But I'm also thinking about who it is I'm going to be sending this to. So those three things, they change depending on the artist that I'm working with and the team surrounding them. So I know that, okay, well, this A&R at this big major is just lucky to be there and knows nothing about music and needs a fully mixed master delivered to him before he sees the vision. Or like, this A&R at this other label can walk into a house and see the potential of the renovations. You know what I mean? And he's musically inclined or whatever. So I always have a conversation, especially before I'm working with a new artist. I will always call the manager and be like, okay, the artist is going to walk in here and tell me they want Billie Eilish meets Olivia Rodrigo. Okay, because that's what's hot right now. What do you guys have on plan for her, or him or whatever? And I try and talk to the team and sort of see what the direction is. And then I sort of blend the two. So having a conversation with the team, like the A&R will kind of guide me. Okay, they're hyper focused on, getting a fully produced track. Okay, that's what I'm going to deliver to them too. Obviously, starting with the fully produced vocal, making it sound, as fire as possible. But definitely start with a good song. It's easy to dress it up with production. Yep. And then, if it passes the campfire test, it works.
Yep.
So a clean, beautiful vocal that also I try and get final vocals during the day one because you also never know when you're going to get back in with that artist. They could tease it on TikTok. It blows up. Label calls. We got to get this out now. Yeah. And I'm in LA, so it's being conscious of that type of thing. But yeah, I would say we're pretty aligned on that.
Yeah. I think it's so important too, something you mentioned where it's like, who am I sending this day one bounce to? Because obviously, like, for the purpose of this podcast listener, like this is like you're working with an artist and maybe someone new, like, like the 90% of your sessions, right? But then if you're lucky enough where you're working with the same artist a bunch, or like me, it's like I'm lucky enough where I get to do some projects. It's like those day one bounces are so different. Listeners know I work a lot with an artist named Rosie Darling. I do most of her project. And she's someone where it's like we have the rapport now where it's like, okay, song first, we're just writing a song. I just have to get like a piano or a guitar down. And like you could just get a one take vocal and I can send that to you. And we both know that like this is going to go somewhere else. Yeah. I would not advise doing that with new artists that you're just working with. Again, like we were saying, it's like every demo really is a business card and you never know who's going to hear it. Like Kayla was saying, it's like, I ask it all the time. Like when I hear a demo I like, I'm like, oh, who'd you do that with? Like, I'm curious. I want to know like who I have to beat that day, or like I want to know because I want to, check them out and maybe work with them. That's where it's like, I think sometimes producers get really upset where it's like, man, I feel like I'm doing all this work and like nothing's coming out. But you have to understand that like your demos, they're doing work within the music industry sometimes. I have had demos that have gotten me into rooms that I would not have gotten in if they didn't hear a certain demo. Yep. Even though that demo never came out, never saw the light of day, it's just sitting on my hard drive. It's like there is value and it just takes time for it to like build up. And especially like, you send people a playlist and they hear a bunch of, demos, day one bounces, work tapes, like a bunch of your work, and they see that it's consistent. It's like, oh, wow, this producer's like always doing great work. Like maybe these songs aren't there yet, but like the productions are dope. And that's a thing too, where I gave advice to this producer where all this stuff sounds great. And you're like, damn, you're a really good producer. These songs are okay. you know, and
Mm-hmm.
but there is also value in that, right? That like, even though maybe you're not working with the best of the best songwriters yet, you're all kind of coming up together. But like, there are people who can kind of see, like myself, like I can hear past the song and be like, oh, you're doing good work. Like you've
Mm-hmm.
actually elevated these okay songs to like be like bump a little bit
Mm-hmm.
harder. So, you know, it's
They're okay good now.
right there. Okay, good. But yeah, and you know, that's why also I encourage every producer to like be a little bit more involved in the songwriting and like understand. Like, I'm not, you know, if you're not a songwriter, don't start like pitching
Yeah.
out melodies left and right and
Yep.
like lyrics,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
understand like what's a good song and not being afraid to be like, guys, I think we can beat that. It's good, but like let's try and
Mhm.
beat
Yep.
it, you know, and go from there. So speaking of teams,
Mm-hmm.
when you do those day one bounces, call it bounce etiquette, as I have on my note that I'm looking up here. Bounce etiquette. This is a question I get a lot from other producers: is who are you sending those bounces to? You know, personally, Kayla, I'll start with you. Like those day one bounces, who are you sending it to?
Usually the artist. Usually the
Yeah.
artist, because the artist will be like, ooh, can we just like tweak this before I send it to my team? Like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But this is might be controversial, but I find that a lot of the time the trick that really sells the song is if you bounce live stems and you say, play this live and see the reaction. And they bring it and they'll play it for their band and it's unreleased. And you're aware that, okay, you don't have this fee, but you do have the audience reaction and it will guide the artist as to whether they should release it. And
Yeah,
almost every time they'll release it
yeah,
and it will
it's
encourage the
smart. Yeah,
team.
that's yeah. It's like I know, like even myself, like I find myself sometimes like when people are like, "Can you send stems because we want to play it live?" I'm just like, ah,
Yeah.
I need to get paid. But you're kind of right. Like it's it's sometimes it does help like really make sure that song will come out where they're like, man, people are fucking loving this song
Mhm.
live.
That's something
Yeah.
I would absolutely do
Yeah.
if it's the right artist, you know, like
Mhm.
if it's an artist they're working with that the live show is like their thing and
Yeah.
we write a
Right.
cool track and there's just not even a question. I would send that because
Yeah.
like that's
No,
just
same. Yeah.
that just means like, okay, like this is going to go somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm always hesitant, but I always end up doing it because it's like I never really had that exact thought process as you, but I'm just like, yeah, like let them see if they really fuck with the song. And then sometimes too, it's happened where the artist was like, oh, like we were playing this song and like we actually started playing the bridge twice as long and it was a vibe.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
like, and it's like, oh shit, okay, yeah. And like sometimes you only figure out those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I did this song, it's a good story. Just and listeners can kind of hear the real song. I don't know if you guys know, you know, Salem Elise. She did like
Mhm.
Mad at Disney and the PS5 song. I've been working with her for years, and I had a record on her last album called Team Sport, and like we wrote that and kind of like sat for a little bit. And she was like, "Hey, I kind of want to like play it on my tour. Can you like send stems and I'm going to work it out with like my music director and band?" And like while they were playing it, they actually like came up with like a cool chord change at the end of the song.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Yeah, he like hit it wrong by accident and it sounded sick." And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that is sick. Let's do that." So I had to like go in and kind of like, you know, pitch shift the guitar to like make it work because it was like, you know, I would have had to change the tones and I would, but it was like ended up being awesome.
That's
You know,
sick.
so you know, it's a fun little story. Andrew, who are you sending those day one bounces to initially?
Typically, usually like I said, when I do like writes with new people or maybe someone I already have worked with a bunch, usually I'm doing like a group chat the night before or day before just to confirm everyone's coming, you know, and get their numbers if I didn't have them already. And usually it's going to that group chat because usually everyone stays in the room for a lot of the process and they're kind of aware what's going on. And I think it's also important too that especially the writers, I mean, I will say actually there's probably a few where I'd maybe just sent to the artist. So just you can always gauge a vibe in the room. Sometimes the song can be
Right.
good, but maybe one of the collaborators was like kind of a weak point of it, but the song still came out well. And I don't know, it's all vibes, but I would say 98% of the time it's going to the group chat of like who was in the room, because I think there is something to be said about the artist can be maybe a little too introspective or a little too, they may look at the picture a little too long sometimes or a certain way. And, you know, when the writers are proud of what they did, they're going to help reinforce what they love about it. You know?
Exactly.
And sometimes they may have to leave, like while we're cutting the vocal, and they're just excited to hear it anyway. And then they're going to hear it completely fresh after we've cut a vocal, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so pumped about this, you know? And I think that also just helps the artist kind of get a good gauge on kind of the temperature of the song and like how it's hitting with even just the people that wrote it. I mean, if you write a thing and the next day people are still like, oh, wow, it's awesome. Especially with writers that write day in, day out. It's Nashville. Like a lot of people I work with, like they're literally in sessions every day, all day, sometimes 2 sessions a day. And for people that, you know, still give a fuck, you know, the next day and like actually be really excited about it and be as passionate as they were in the room, like it does go a long way. Especially for especially a new collaboration with new people, you know?
Totally.
But I think there's a maturity, especially in like songwriting and production, that like just because it's done, the day one's done, and there's an arrangement, doesn't mean that like it needs to stay that way. And there's still a lot of wiggle room you can do with what you've done. And
it's just having the courage. It's like it.
Well, the good ones are going to speak up and they're going to actually say something. They're going to actually say, like,
it's
hey,
usually the ones who've been doing it for a little longer, who have the confidence to be like, I don't mind. I call it like poking the bear. Like, I don't mind poking the bear and like seeing what we can do to like improve this. You know, it's like me 10 years ago, like I wasn't doing that. Now I do it like every day. I'm like, guys, like, you know, just gonna.
Well, I think I know we also do this for so long. We do so many of these. I feel like it doesn't really happen a lot because we're just good at our jobs and we know when it's right pretty quick, usually. You know,
people don't realize how you have to turn over every stone because so much work goes into these sessions too. Like it's like 6 to 8 hours of people's times, right?
And
so
then
if
for
you're
the
just
producer, another few hours.
Right. And if you're just like phoning in lyrics or like you know, like nothing can be throwaway. Everything needs to be intentional. So if you just go over it again with like a fine tooth comb, you can be proud of that record versus like, oh yeah, you know, we just threw this in. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I did this.
There's this really, I saw it. I don't even know if it's true because like, who knows what's true on the internet, but like supposedly it was like a Tyler, the Creator, like quote where he's like, I create like a child and edit like a scientist. And it's like, and I'm like,
I think that was him. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, yes, that's how I want every writing session to go. It's like when we're in the room, just like fucking write it. It feels good, great. And then once it's like done, then you can go in and be like, okay, like I'm gonna try and like tweak and like edit and like do the thing. And I've learned that's like it's a much more enjoyable process than like, okay, we're writing a song, we're all like so excited about it. And then someone's like, we gotta make this one line perfect. And it's like, we have to make it perfect right now, or do we have something that feels really good? And let's just like write the song. Like, let's be done with it. Right. My favorite thing in the world to do is to write quickly, like have it pretty much done. And like exactly like what Tyler said, is like, and then go line by line. Then I'll start to poke the bear and be like, okay, can we beat this line? Can we beat this line? Can we like go like this and do all those things? That's the way to do it. You know, another like fun little like TikTok video that people should try and find because it is really eye-opening is y'all know Bonnie McKee. For listeners who might not know, Bonnie is like one of the most successful songwriters of the last like 15-20 years. She did pretty much all the big Katy Perry records like Teenage Dream, blah blah blah. And anyway, so a couple years ago on TikTok she had her like notebook of lyrics, and there's like the story that like they rewrote the chorus lyrics of Teenage Dream, I think 10 times or something like that. Like something like ridiculous. And she basically like, she opened up her notebook and she like pointed to and sang like all the different versions that they had and rejected.
My God.
But it's like same thing. It was like,
were they any good? Were they cool?
No, bad. They were like all doing the Katy Perry thing, but I think like with that melody, it's such a stupid melody.
It's simple. It's a
rhythm. So because, and this is the genius of Max Martin, who kept on like being like, no, not good enough, is that again, they created the melody, they created the vibe, they had the thing, they knew how it was going to feel, and then they fucking dug in on those lyrics. And like they kept doing it till it was perfect because it needed to be. And I think like, you know, that's what they were saying. She's like, yeah, like the melodies and everything were like that, done quick. Anyway, that's my story.
I think what you just said also just kind of made me think, because it's Producer Points. It's mostly, I would assume producers are listening to this, like maybe songwriters only. But as a producer, like, I mean, in a situation like that, like maybe you're like me, and like in the late 2010s, like I was just doing production and I was doing these writes, and I wasn't really a writer. But I picked up the skills over time by putting good people in the room with me while I just focused on being really good at producing. And then eventually I started to get, like you were saying, by the time COVID rolled around, I was very confident being like, look, I'm not going to tell you what the hook of the song is. I can just tell you that, like, this isn't good enough yet. You know, like I'm not skilled enough to tell you, but I have taste, and I can tell you, like, this isn't grabbing me. And it is kind of our job to facilitate in these writing sessions. And it's like a episode roundtable about like day one bounces, but really it is also in a way about that writing session and how you get to that. How do you get to that good bounce? We have to facilitate that, and we have to understand the energy of the room, the types of people, the personalities. We have to help facilitate, especially if we're not like more writer than, I know, Justin, you would call yourself maybe more on the writer side of things. That's your bag. I was more on the producer side, and now I'm starting to inch more to writer and have that balance a little bit more. I would say this year I've had some of my favorite, I think, best songs on the songwriting side with my name is attached as a credit, where I feel like I actually felt more involved with the writing. It was so much about like facilitating that first couple hours of the write and getting 100%. The vibes right. And then I'm almost, in a way, I'm also more informed on how to produce this. And I'm not needing to spend 6 hours producing. I can spend maybe 3 to 4 hours on the production when I've gotten everything more figured out in the first couple, instead of just jumping right in.
I want to move on from the topic, but like, I just want to end there where it's no coincidence that the best producers are also incredible songwriters. That is not by accident. That is, you look at now, because Billboard does like the top producers, like you look at that list, you're like, oh, they're all also songwriters. There's like very rarely a producer. Yeah. You
got to know everything inside and out.
Yeah. That's the job nowadays. And I just want to end this, the bounce etiquette, who to send, like kind of get my 2 cents here is I'm like you guys, I'm always sending it to the people who were in that room that day. I just like, I'm a big songwriter advocate. That's their intellectual property. I'm always going to send it to the songwriters. And then I send it to my team, but my team also knows that they are not allowed to send it to anyone else unless they ask and I give them permission. And I had a couple times where I have a rule that like me personally, I do not send bounces to other people's teams. There's even been times when like the teams have hit me up and been like, hey, can we hear that song that you did with so-and-so artist? And I always tell them respectfully, I'm like, listen, like I sent them the record, like they have it. You need to ask them for it. I don't send bounces to people's teams. That's just kind of my rule. And they're like, oh, okay, like we didn't know you sent it. Like that's usually why they're asking me. It's not because they're trying to go behind the artist's back. But that's just like, it's a respect thing, because I know so many artists out there like, I don't like to show my team something until it's like I want it to be ready for them. And same with A&Rs. It's like I'm very protective over those like bounces, because it's just about like, especially with artists, it's like I want to really make sure that like you want this to be heard
too.
Yeah,
totally.
And enough people are hacked. It's like the more that people have a record, the more likely something could get, leaked or hacked or whatever.
Sure.
I want to talk a little bit, since we've all mentioned how important vocals are for day one bounces. And what are we doing on our day one bounces? How have we gotten quick enough? What are some techniques that you guys have under your belt to get that vocal to sound good? Are you comping with the artist in the room or the singer in the room? Are you comping later? Like, what's kind of your go-to thing? Kayla, I'll start with you.
I'm kind of good. I'm kind of like comping as I go. Definitely getting doubles, definitely getting triples. I've kind of developed this like reputation for like being obsessed with gang vocals and being obsessed with like choirs and harmonies and stuff. And I think when you bake those into that, it just elevates the song so much. And so I like to get, if there's like 3 of us in the room, like we're all hopping on the record doing gang vocals. And because personally, I think that reinforces the hook, and it basically tells the audience what their part is to sing. Like I also make sure, obviously, in the writing, there's a part for, the songwriter, the singer to sing, and then the part for, to put the mic into the audience, and that sells the song. So a lot of the times it's getting like stacks ready to go. And this is really, I think, what separates a rookie from a pro. It's the simplest, tiniest thing. Make sure that there's no dead air in your fucking records. Like there's so many people who don't take the time and just crossfade. Just like really clean it up, EQ it nicely, make it shine, and make sure that the lyrics are audible. Because a lot of the times, if like right now I'm on my SM7B, like it's a travel mic right now, and I have my cloud lifter, but I'm making sure that EQ is making sure that it's shiny. It's nice. It sounds decent. You can hear the lyrics. So that's basically what it is. It's like, just get your triples, get your doubles, shine it up, put the reverb. I do reverbs and delays and stuff, but that's mainly me mapping out what I want later and stuff. So just final vocals pretty much.
Yeah. Andrew, what about you? What like, when are you comping? What are some tips and tricks that you do to get that vocal sounding good quickly and getting it out fast?
Well, one, work on a lot of music. But anyway,
Yes.
I would say I am getting leads, and I usually shoot for when it's a good vocalist or even a decent above decent, where I'm not like, if they can sing the line front to back in a verse and it's like you sang it, like maybe there's a better take, but like there's way more good than bad in this. I'm probably shooting for about 5 to 7 takes of everything. 5 to 7 keepables, I would say, which isn't too much. I would say it's just a decent amount. And usually from there, I can make some doubles if I need to with that. I'm usually trying to get a lead, the left-right double vibe, some extra takes in case I need to fix a couple things on the lead. And I'm getting usually a low octave or high octave of all the choruses, and maybe in that section that might need in the verse. Harmonies are usually, it's dependent on the singer. Some singers are really good with harmonies really quickly. And on a day one and we're moving quick, it's like, I don't know how you guys do it. Well, I know how you guys do it in LA, but at least in Nashville, we're very 11 a.m. start time and everyone wants to go home by like 4:30 and go actually eat dinner. So if it's like 4 o'clock and we're cutting a vocal, it's like we're getting the lead, we're getting doubles, we're getting some octaves, and I'll probably just make some harmonies with some like harmony engine or something. And also very genre dependent and also song dependent within the genre. If it's like a more acoustic folky track, well, that probably means that this production ain't too big today on the demo, so we're gonna spend a lot of time on vocals. If it's a big banging pop track or a big banging rock track with a lot of cool shit happening and just the production music level, we're probably just gonna get leads, doubles, octaves, and then if the singer's great, some harmonies. If not, like I said, probably something like a vocoder or a waves harmony I like using a lot.
Such a great tool.
And sometimes even those fake ones actually make the record too. They have like a kind of a cool sound sometimes. As long as
they're tough. You don't really notice they're fake.
And because it's not even the real vocal, like it just sits in a spot that's interesting. It's more perceivable. The notes are more perceivable. But I also am, while I'm tracking the vocalist, no matter who it is, I am 100% comping and they're hearing every single thing. For some reason, I don't know what happened. Like I feel like 10 years ago, everyone said, don't do that. Like, I'm glad we were past that, because are you trying to actually make more records and save time? Do it with the person right there in front of you, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to give you great feedback about what they like and don't like, and you're going to learn so much about them immediately, and you're going to see their confidence rise as you put that together. And then also you're just giving yourself less work to do. I hate getting hundreds of takes of vocals and then going back a day later or a week later whenever I'm editing. That's a waste of time. Get everything done that day. And if you do a good job and you do it enough and you get good at it, likely that will end up being more than likely what comes out most likely with a lot of artists. It's because if you're doing your job right, you set yourself up, you get your templates, all my effects and stuff are just sitting there ready to go and sends. If I need something specific for the song, like it has a really specific effect, I'm building that with the production while we're tracking. I'm not even waiting until after. We're singing into it.
100%.
Yeah.
I get that. Most people who work with me know that I'm like obsessive over the vocal performance. It's like my belief. It's like so important. And I very rarely comp the same day I'm recording it. Just because I've learned, like, at least in my brain, because I'm so involved in the writing and I'm like, I'm trying so many things in when we're recording the vocal, where I'm like, try like this, try this pocket, see how this feels, sing it how you like to do it. I'm not going to give any notes because I'm trying so many things. I learned that like I need that day away to gain some perspective, to see like, because there are times where it's like I'll like do a comp day. I'll just be like, okay, cool, you want to cut some like harmonies and stuff to a vocal, here's a comp, whatever. And then I'll go back in the next day and be like, oh, this is horrible. I made so many wrong choices. Or, oh, all the notes I gave were shit. Thank God I told the singer just to like sing it how they wanted to, because what they did is so much better. And yeah, so for me, it's like I like that day away mostly because I really enjoy the process of like coming in with fresh ears and not having heard the song a million times that day.
Mm-hmm.
And day of, kind of what I'm doing is I'm getting more takes than I'm getting, anywhere from 10, 15, depending on how good the singer is, because Andrew, like you said, like I'm also making doubles or quadruples out of those. So I just want to have it all, where it's like I just want to have everything. I want to have it so I have it, and then you don't have to come back and do things. So if we have time, I'm always focusing on the main vocal, where it's like I want to make sure I have enough of that, and I'd rather overdo it on that and then not do any harmonies that day than be like, okay, well, you wanted to get harmony, so let's like rush it on this lead vocal and whatever. I'm like, no, 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 no. You can always come back for that, but like this day, this lead vocal is like you're gonna fall in love with it, and I need to make sure that I have what I need to like sell it to you. And then once I feel like we have that, because I am taking like mental notes of like, okay, cool, we get this, we got that. Then we can do harmonies, low octave, nice soft gang vocals if we feel.
Oh, ad libs, ad lib tracks. We
Ad-lib,
didn't even bring
ad
them up.
libs,
Huge.
ad libs.
They make the
Sometimes we
record.
yeah, they make the records.
And like I think singers just have so much fun doing that. It's like a moment for them to like just not give a fuck. And I will say, I think how you get vocals done faster and to get day one bounces is I've invested so much time into having the perfect vocal template for me
Yeah.
of how I like to work. And my
Yes.
vocal template is I can just go and like do things way quicker. Gangs, I got 16 tracks ready to go. Oz, I got 5 Oz things ready to go here that we can do. Like it's all my reverbs, all my delays, all my, vocal wideners, they're all ready to go, where if like I want it, I just click and bring up the scent. So
100%.
I have it so I can do it quickly, where it's like, these are the verbs, these are like the 4 or 5 verbs that are my go-tos. And like, yes, do I change them eventually? Yes, but I know how they sound like, and I know that like, cool, it's good enough for like right now to like get a vibe going, and I don't have to like sit here and like go through fucking 20 different reverbs, So I think that like for vocals, it's like not enough people have like the time to have for that. Not enough people have made a vocal template for themselves. I understand people not wanting a template for like productions because they want to be like more free flowing and whatever. I get that. But when you're doing vocals, you will save yourself so much time, and you'll keep that singer so much more engaged. Where they're like, oh, I want to do harmonies. Great. I have a harmony fucking bus ready to go for you. And then it's also easier for you
They'll
when
be
you
able to
edit.
hear it quick too. They want to be able to hear it back quickly.
Right. And I can easily, like, I have EQs, I have multiband compressor, I have things on there that I can just click on for them to hear and be like, oh, it sounds good now. Auto tunes are ready to go. They're all grouped where it's like I just have to set one of them to the thing. So it's like things like that where it's like I can get shit sounding good for them and getting them pumped about it very quickly because I've set myself. I did the work before.
Yes.
And it's all ready to go. So for like listeners out there, like, I understand not wanting to have a template. I really do. I start my shit in Ableton with like a pretty blank template just to be able to freeform and build. But like having a vocal template is so fucking important. Because I think that's how you can get shit done very, very quickly.
Hey gang, I just wanted to pop in here to let you know that the best way you can help this podcast grow is to rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. It tells the algorithm to push our show to other listeners so we can grow. And it's one of, if not the best way to help support this podcast. So if you wouldn't mind, take a second to rate this podcast. Sharing it with your friends would be amazing too. All right, back to the pod.
Totally.
Want to move on to our next fun little topic here. What are some plugins This will be good for the gram and for the TikTok.
Oh yeah.
What are some plugins that, whether it's for the vocal, for the mix bus, for the drums, what are like some plugins that you feel like, we'll do it by topic to keep it a little bit more
I was going to say
on topic.
that's a big question.
That's a big question.
Listen, and you can't just say CLA vocals on every single answer.
Yeah, right.
Our Vox actually.
Let's start with because we were talking about vocals, right? What are some of your go-to vocal plugins that you're like, I know I can like this is how I can like get it to shape quickly, or like even a piece of gear. Andrew, I'll start with you, man. What's like vocal plugin for you that's like your go-to?
I've had the same exact vocal chain for the last 3 or 4 years with very minor tweaks I do over the same time. I want to say in our episode that's coming out at some point, I might have went through it. I can't remember if I did or not, but a lot of the Waves Renaissance stuff, I mean, let's be honest, our Vox is like the GOAT. And I just think those are just timeless sounding plugins. They've become like, I call it vintage modern. But I would say, yeah, auto-tune at the top, our Vox with the gate, a little bit of compression, some kind of multi-band somewhere to help do some shaping. And I have different setups for different mics I'm using. So SM7 have a different multi. I do a lot of stuff in the multi-band. That's a lot where the shape is with depending on the mic. And then a de-esser for the T's and the P's, and then another compressor, then, another de-esser for the S's. And then I leave a couple slots open because I am on Pro Tools. So, we're stuck with the harmony inserts we have over here, which is honestly probably a blessing, really.
I think it is. I'm one of those people where it's like, I used to hate it. I'm like, actually, you know what? It's good.
I see some Logic sessions and I'm like, I get scared.
Hey, don't hate on Logic.
No, it's like, because like Ableton too, it's like you put 20 plugins on that. It's like, did it need it? It's kind of like, because you can, should you kind of a thing. I get it.
But I leave a couple slots for, I know like this stack will get me like that bass level, like when they hear it back and I hear them like, this is more than listenable, we're having a great time. But maybe like I leave a little bit of room for like a couple inserts, and then always my last insert's a limiter. And then just for like something that I can lean the vocal creatively. Maybe it's some kind of, who knows what. It just depends on the song. Yeah. That's just a general vocal chain. And then, like I said, I have like buses already routed and set up with the channels, some for the leads only, and then the background's not as much. I have, like my parallel compression vocal thing, like the bus just ready to go. I have like micro shift just sitting there. I got just doubler stuff. Doublers are really helpful for day ones, by the way. Very, very helpful. Yeah. And also just a good vibe in general. So
instantly, to me, it's like, it's so funny. It's like when I turn it on in the room, everyone's like, oh, what? Whoa, vocals popping now. And it's like such a subtle thing. It's like, it's just a little vocal widener. Like
similar answer, very similar thing too that I've used a lot over the last year. And then, the GOAT Dan Nigro really just like blew it up on that one video is the Brigade chorus. UAD.
Yeah.
Like that,
I've been using that shit for years before.
It's so good, but it's on the right kind of vocal or ad lib or background part. Really, even a lead, honestly, even just tucked in a little bit. I don't like to stack too much of that though, because then you get some weirdness going on and you start to lose that clarity.
No, you can only use it on like 1 or 2 vocal parts because it's like it's gonna get phasey.
Pick your favorite doubler, lean into that, and then that kind of thing. And then I think everything ends up out of my vocal master bus, which has I try to do very little on there. I try to get a lot of things right in the channel. And then if I'm mixing the song, I'll do some stuff on the buses to like lean it, a certain way, get everything to work a little bit more together. But like, as far as vocals, that's it for me. Basically just a lot of times, like that track I was just telling you about earlier, like amazing vocalist that very clearly can do anything on her own and has with great success. And the day one vocal is like, here, SM7, it's a rock track. You're going to be screaming too. So like, it's SM7 day. And it was just like, the thought was go home and cut it. But she's like, this sounds amazing. Even today, she told me, it's like, so-and-so is going to mix and whatever. It's like, but I want you to just print everything. I don't even want you to send any drives. I like it. And it's just like, cool. But that's just literally my chain. That's just a thing I've built over years. You chisel over time, you tweak some things, and then you kind of get that one that gets you 80 there kind of with anyone. And the only thing I'm really tweaking is just my multi-band, and it's usually the high end, depending on how, bright the vocal is. Yeah. And that's about it. The mids usually stay mostly the same on the C4 for me.
Love that. Kayla, what about you? What are some like your go-to like vocal plugins that you're like, cool, I can use this and it'll get me there quickly?
Yeah, no, honestly, as you were describing it, Andrew, I was like, wait, he's talking about my chain. Like we literally have the same chain. I love the Slate plugins. I think that
Same.
they're amazing. And when I first started learning how to produce, like I got the all access pass and
It's the best.
you have Aosis Air is fantastic. Like
Mhm.
all those Metatune, I'm a huge fan of Metatune. I think it sounds like the most natural, just out of every tune I've used. Um,
Wild.
I
I've
know
never
there's
I've never really like
I've
fucked with it that
actually,
much.
you're not the first person that
Yeah.
I've heard say that, and I've been using Autotune since Autotune 5. It's hard for me
Yeah.
to break the habit.
yeah, a
So
lot of people,
yeah,
yeah. So I love that. I absolutely love, of course, Arvox is like
the best.
unbelievable. I love Vocal Rider. I don't know if you use this, but it's just great. It's so clean. Like to me, it just cleans it up nicely.
I've never tried it, and
You never tried it?
I've heard so much good praise for it. I maybe should give it a shot.
It's
I
fun to like
literally
watch
I
it too.
thought about it the other day too. I'm like, I don't know, because I was working on a little doing the clip game thing and all the stuff in the vocals. I'm like, man, it's just like a quick demo. Maybe like a vocal writer could be sick. I don't know. I should probably try it.
Vocal Rider is good when it's like you're like, oh fuck, I really gotta clip gain this.
Mhm.
Isotope Nectar, their
Yeah,
version of it is actually better.
I just got the new
Oh,
one. I
okay.
just got the new Nectar recently.
Yeah, so it's called Vocal Leveler. And
Okay.
it's Vocal Rider, but it's actually like more intelligent and it like you have a way more control over things. So since Nectar has come out with that, that's what I use over Vocal Rider. It recognizes S's and consonants,
Okay,
Nice.
great.
which Vocal Rider does not, which always frustrated me.
So does it
Um,
mess with your de-esser?
no, it just like it like Vocal Rider, like it doesn't always recognize. It's just kind of like looking at the waveform and just like
Mm.
making things bigger or smaller, where the Vocal Leveler from Isotope is doing that, but it also recognizes the S's and it won't make those louder.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great.
Right.
I'm gonna use that literally on a mix of my
Gonna
own tomorrow.
download it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I
that's like kind
literally
of like
just bought
my
it like last week.
yeah, that's my go-to. And honestly, my go-to now is like I don't even use that anymore. I just like do the Melodyne like gain thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's like it's actually I find that
Are
to be like
are you doing
supernatural
that while
too.
you're tuning and doing the Pocket and Melodyne? Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, it's like basically and
Just
like now because
word by word or whatever.
Pro Tools is ARA, so
Yeah.
it's like oh, I can like literally every vocal I can just like put in there and just like very quickly like I kind of for the backgrounds I'll go to 40%, 40%, bring the lower higher and higher lower 40 and it's like that kind of makes it like even out for the background vocals. And
I
for
should
my
try that.
lead vocal I kind of do it more like with my own hand because I'm
Yeah.
crazy. But for backgrounds like oh, beautiful. Wonderful.
Nice.
It's
Hey,
great.
this is sick.
But sorry,
I'm look-
continue. Vocal Rider?
Vocal Rider, yeah, and then just some EQ compression, all of that, everything you mentioned, Andrew. Like I literally have all of those.
I think I have our compressor in there somewhere too. I forgot. It's one of my compressors. I think
Okay.
I have like 3 compressors on my
You have
vocal
like the
at any point.
whatever the CLA 76.
No, my
Hey,
3. No.
that's a great plugin.
It
It's
is
a
a great
great
plugin.
plugin.
And they just updated it too
Mhm.
with the
It's
new
really
version.
good.
I
Yeah.
gotta go fork over another $100-something to leave again. No,
Always on sale.
I think the 3 compressors I'm using is just Arvox, our comp, and then I love that MJuck Klinghelm like $30 plugin I got like 10 years ago. It has like the 3 compressor modules on it. That is like secret weapon compressor. Like basically my entire career I've been using it. It's amazing.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just have it into the bus, and like
Yep.
it's my reverb bus, and it's just I love it a good long decay reverb with a little H delay.
Yes.
But do
Same.
you
Love H delay.
find
We have the
guys
same
find-
template.
We have the same template.
Yeah.
Oh, you've never used H delay, Justin?
No, I use it. It's not my go-to, but like it's when I want a clean delay. Like that's what I go for.
Do you find that sometimes you have to go over it, or it will detune your delays? Am I the only one with this issue?
What do you mean you have to go
depends
over?
I think if you have analog on, it might do that. If you have it off, if you have analog off, I don't know if it does that. But I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
As it decays a little longer, it's doing the analog thing where it kind of like.
Oh yeah, it's like kind of like that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm now like fully on like Valhalla delay. Like, oh god,
So
something
good.
fell.
So good.
Yeah, I'm just so comfortable in those. I love how they look. I use it. I'm gonna give a really shitty answer because it's like it's not for beginner producers. So like honestly, I'm able to get shit out faster because I have invested in a great vocal chain. And I know that's not like the quick and easy answer, but it is really the answer. Like I have this chain now where it's like I don't have to do too much in the box. It's in there. I maybe have to do some EQ. I just have like some multi-band compression, kind of just controlling the low mids and like the mids a little bit. I don't, because the high end on this is so smooth, I don't even have to like multi-band compress the high end anymore. It's just sometimes I have to like take some out.
So nice.
Yeah, hashtag blessed. But
Nice.
but you know, like
I was
for
gonna
what
say
yeah.
I was gonna say before we get far from it, the Valhalla delay, you mentioned that.
Mhm.
I just have to note there because it's honestly changed my life with vocal productions, and I think it's just if you have Valhalla delay or if you don't, get it. It's not expensive. It's
$50.
I dropped my 10 plus year addiction to Echo Boy for that, but I still love it. But yeah, the ducking feature on that, literally just make a send with the duck all the way up, put on the little tape mode, whichever one flavor you like, do shape it however you want to, and then just put the little send on your lead vocal whenever you want to use it. And then just, it's a chorus, it's big, we want to fill space. Just have it on. And whenever they're not singing, it'll just kind of bring in some of that tail. And you just kind of tuck that in. And that just does so much for very quickly. And it's also creatively kind of inspiring. You'll maybe hear some vocal throws that you're like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Then you can go like kind of make it more traditionally.
It's so funny that you bring up ducking because it's literally what I was about to bring up. Like how I kind of get my vocals to be able to cut through quickly is if you look at my entire Pro Tools template, it's like more my mix template, but there is a lot of Pro MBs and soothes basically like all hitting off each other. So on every single reverb send and every single delay send, there's a Pro MB that is connected to the lead vocal that I can kind of very quickly choose how much I want it to duck out. It's always doing a little bit for the lead vocal, but I can always go in and do more. So it's like on every single effect except for the vocal widener, I have it already doing that. I have it doing it sometimes against the backing vocals in a certain frequency. So like the mids, I'll kind of like duck out the lead vocal. I mean the backing vocals for the lead vocal. And then against my instrument bus and my bass bus, I also have it doing some side chaining against the lead vocal. And it's like doing all right. It's like it's just set up in my template where it's like already there. I just have to turn on Pro MB.
But yeah, so and then this is like the cheat code plugin that like I'm sure listeners are looking for, but don't lean on this because I do not lean on it. I love this plugin called Magic Flow by Acoustica. It's like the Josh Goodwin. Is that his name?
I've heard of this plugin, but I am unfamiliar with what it is.
It's like it's a very dangerous plugin because it can do a lot, and I'm very light-handed with it. But it's like meant to be like a Mixbus plugin, or it can be like on your drum bus. It's like it does like overall moves, and for me, it just sits on my vocal bus. And for the more like really poppy sessions, not for my singer-songwriter stuff, but for the more like really poppy sessions where it's like, oh, I got to make this vocal like fucking pop, I can just like turn it on and it does this thing they call it like mid push, where it like pushes up the mids. It's doing some like resonant dynamic EQ stuff, and it's doing some light like limiting, and it's just like kind of like instantly focuses the vocal. Yeah, and it's like kind of like when I'm like, ah, shit, like this vocal isn't quite there yet, and I probably
your oh shit button.
Yeah, it's like it's funny because like it rarely ends up on a final mix, but on these day one bounces where I'm like, okay, I really wanted to like make sure it's cutting through. Like that's the plugin that I'm reaching for to like help me get there.
What's it called?
Magic Flow.
Magic Flow. Okay, I'm downloading that right now.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's a very good plugin. The Acoustica stuff, it's like all their plugins are like really expensive. You know, let me see how much it is. Magic Flow plugin. Yeah, it is Josh Goodwin. Oh no, it's not that bad. This one's not that bad. This one's $70.
Oh, okay.
That's not
yeah. So many of their other ones are $250 for a clipper. It's like, bro,
for a clipper.
What are we? Oh, you know what? It is on sale. Save 58% until July 13th.
Oh, so there you go. To what, like $200 or something?
Well, 163.
Yeah. Okay.
What the hell is 163?
What a weird. I want to know. Like, I want to be in that boardroom where they decided that.
Yeah. Yeah. At least 69 is funny.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And then, guys, let's talk Mixbus because I'm already taking up too much of your time. Right? Let's talk
That's all good.
Mixbus. What do you feel like are your go-to like this is on my day one bounces every time. Again, not always final mix, but what is on that day one bounce that you're like, all right, I can throw this on and do the thing. Kayla, I'll start with you.
I'm definitely a huge fan of God Particle. Absolutely love Jason Joshua's technology, except I'm so sorry, the limiter is not very great.
No, everyone is slowly going off that limiter.
It's honestly the reason I didn't buy it after the trial was the limiter.
It's just like, if you print that with the limiter on, the brick is like, it wants to leave the page. Like, it's way too much. Like, so I wouldn't recommend like leaving the limiter on, but for day one bounce, I really like the way the God Particle just boosts it. It's kind of similar to what you were saying with like Magic Flow with your vocal. It's kind of like that go-to be all type of plugin.
Yeah. It does that like nice little like kind of shaping, but it is funny. It's like, I think as like, it's what happens with kind of these like plugins where everyone's like, ooh, this is doing a thing. And like we all like use it too much. And then after we use it for like 2 months, and we go back and listen to some of those bounces, we're like, oh no. Like I've used this far too much. And it's like, you know, it's like you start at like the 100% using the limiter. And like now it's like, now I'm at like 65% and I'm not using the limiter anymore. And it's on like, makes it like on half my records, where before it was like on every record.
Yeah.
Andrew, what about you? What's kind of like your go-to like Mixbus plugins for day ones?
Well, like my vocals, I just keep what I would use if I was just producing or / mixing. A lot of them are just deactivated, but usually have like VMR at the top with the doing the master tube collection. I like the Hollywood one, the blue one.
That's nice.
Saturation stuff there with the console, the VCC console, and I change which console depending on music. Like I said, I do a lot of like alt pop rock stuff, so it usually stays on like the SSL. Just a bunch of things doing little things, but the kind of the big one that like is like you turn this on and like now like even you when the artist is in the room or anyone, it's like it's starting to say, oh wow, this got more umph. Is usually like what's the tape one, the UAD 102?
Oh, the ATR, yeah,
that one. It's great.
Yeah.
I just always love the way tape sounds on basically everything. It doesn't even matter what genre it is. Like I just like the way it sounds, so it just stays on there. That, and then stole a great. So we were talking about loudness earlier. Man, that Saturn II trick is so great. You know what I'm talking about? I don't. It's where you just put Saturn II kind of somewhere in your mix bus. I learned it from my buddy Matt Huber. He's I guess he's back in Nashville now. He's mixing.
Wait, is it like the Saturn and you bypass it, or it's just Saturn is just on?
Saturn II, you go to the bottom right and you go to the input output of the whole plugin, and you put input plus 24, and then you put output minus 24. So you're pushing the saturation into it. And then you just use your drive knob as a free loudness knob. And I'm telling you, it is a cheat code for like getting stuff to just kind of go forward.
And the mix stays at...
You literally open it up. Do not touch a setting. Leave it on the tape, like the default setting. And I mean, obviously you should go and set the quality to high, whatever.
Yeah.
But push the input 24, the little knobs on the bottom right. And then output -24, so it evens out, but you're basically just pushing that saturation in, but you're balancing, you're auto gaining it, and that drive knob in the middle that's just doing the whole thing because you haven't separating bands. You just push that baby up to like 25%, 30%, really as much as you want, and it just does the thing that just makes everything. You know how people talk about like inflator, just like kind of makes things just like
it's doing a thing. Yeah,
it's kind of like a different. It's kind of doing inflator, but not doing what inflator does. It's just a different taste of that, and I personally love it. And
I got to check this out. I'm so intrigued and curious by it.
It is. I mean, you can go crazy with it if you want to. You can really push it. But like, I mean, I don't go too nuts. I mean, like a lot of people here probably, I also recently just upgraded my Ozone up to the new version 11, and it's insane. That is always that's at the end of my chain now for a lot of things. But but when that Saturn trick is that's a cheat code for some free loudness without destroying anything really.
All right, I gotta try. It makes a lot of sense. It's like loudness is harmonics without taking up.
It's just harmonics.
Creating
that's all it
peaks
is.
and That's really crazy.
Yeah, you can get crazy. You can push that little knob up to like 12 o'clock and it'll get louder. But like I think it's also genre dependent, but the sweet spot for me, like it's just set default at maybe like 9 o'clock on that big drive knob. And I don't do any bands. No bands, don't touch anything. Just input, output, input plus 24. All credit to Matt Huber, insane mix engineer. If you don't know of him or you should just go follow him. He puts a lot of great tips and tricks up like that all on his Instagram. I'm checking the post just to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
Okay.
I may have had it backwards. I'd set this up like a year ago and I haven't touched it. It might be that it's backwards. It might be that input's negative and then the output is the positive, but it's like 24. Just play with it.
Okay.
But negative 24 in plus 24 out, but then you use the drive knob to bring that saturation in. I think that's might be what it is.
That makes more sense.
Yeah,
that makes more sense to me.
I literally have not looked at it in a year. Like I might open it up to move the drive knob a little bit up if I just need a little more, but it does the thing for sure.
Okay, something I'm gonna mess with.
Last also a little trick from Mixbus for me, like I think I've done for many years. Pick your choice, but for me, that one knob louder waves limiter plugin thing. I don't use it as necessarily a final limiter, but what I do is after I do some of the shaping on the Mixbus, it goes like after my tape machine, all that, it will go after that. And what I do is I set it to 2.0. That's just what I mean, by default, when I open up any template, it's already on set to 2. And then what I do is I go to the choruses and I bump that shit up to 2.5. Yeah. And then the little extra trick, you don't just up it. You set your bars to 1/16 grid. You go in, and then where that chorus hits or where the impact is. Some choruses we do the push thing where you push on the forehand or something. Wherever it hits, you move. You put a little spike and you move it up to like 4.5, and then it dives back down to 2.5 right on that first transient, that first hit. I'm telling you, shit will blow out of your speakers, and everyone loves it.
Wow.
And then your last chorus, maybe you're at 2.6 or 2.7.
Right.
Just a little louder,
just a little bit. Yeah, it's like all those like little tricks to like.
And then you make sure you go back down
to
2, go back down to 2 on the verses, go back down to 2 on your quiet little acoustic guitar down half chorus before it gets big again. You want to feel, it's so dumb, but like, I don't know, it's just philosophy. You need to let people know they're in a chorus.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so chorus loud, and but not so loud that there's a delta. But like that's why I like the one knob, because it's more the limiter thing versus like an actual volume fade up. It's just gonna kind of push. It's gonna squeeze things a little bit and kind of excite things a little bit.
Yeah, it's that loudness perception.
Yeah,
you know, kind of thing. I love that trick. Yeah, no, for me it's like Ozone 11 is amazing. The clarity nodule is such like a way to like put your vocal up front, the low end focus to make sure your like low end is not out of whack on those day one bounces.
Great limiter too. Honestly my favorite limiter. The maximizer is insane.
Yep.
People love
it's what I use. It's the best one in my opinion now.
Yeah.
And for me, my kind of like secret weapon to really make sure that my day one bounces are where they're supposed to be is another isotope plugin, but tonal balance control 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But for listeners who might not know, it's a visual plugin. It's just kind of like showing you your EQ and like what the curve should be. Some people have like spectrometers, is that what they're called, like on their desk?
You can pull in a reference, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was going to say. It's like,
I
have a couple references that like I have in there that I could be like, cool, like this record's kind of in the same thing. But like, even like they're just like general pop curve is like, I'm just like trying to make sure that it's like, okay, my ears are dead. I've been working on this. Like, I just want to make sure like the high end isn't like way out of whack or the low end's way out of whack, or the mids are way out of whack. As long
kind
as
of
like
A-B it?
It's not even, it's just like showing you like, it's a very visual thing.
Okay.
It's like, here's, you know, like this record, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, it doesn't show you like numbers. It's just like purely visual. Cool. And it's like your low end, you know, is like going outside of the space of like where this record is or like where this general curve is. So it's just like, for me, it's okay. I know if I'm out of those zones by too much, I've made a mistake somewhere and I need to fix it. And for me, it's like I have a low end problem in my room, and that's really what I'm looking for where the first 2 months of bounces from this room, everything was just like my fucking subs and bass were just like way too loud. And now I know I have to like keep an eye out for that. So, you know, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Just like making sure there's nothing worse than like getting a bounce back from someone being like, bro, your kick is overtaking this entire mix.
Or I played in my car and all I heard was subs.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And like that's to me is like that's what this plugin is doing for me. It's ensuring that like since I've used that plugin, I do not have that problem anymore. It's like I can feel a lot more confident doing it. Okay, so we're gonna go on to our second to last little segment here. We're gonna answer a couple listener questions. Unsurprisingly, we got the most amount of listener questions we've ever had on a roundtable because I think this is one. Yeah, this
it's
one
the
that
business.
people
it's
are.
the business card, dude. It's the business card.
Yeah. So I'll start with a funny one. This is from. Maybe he won't want me to say his name because he's been a guest on the podcast before. So maybe I'll leave him out of it. How bad does the song have to be for you to refuse a bounce?
Like a day of bounce.
You just said a bounce, but I guess a day of bounce.
I mean, it's got to be really bad.
Yeah.
And everyone has to know it's really bad.
Yeah.
If no one cares to listen to it or checks in, then you know it's bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
My kind of solution for that is if I'm like, you know, again, I'm going back in the next morning, I'm like, oh man, this song is a very C plus B minus song. I will never refuse to send a bounce just because I kind of mentioned earlier, like this is people's intellectual property.
Yes.
I don't have the right to be like, decide who gets to hear this and who doesn't get to hear this. If that's the case, if I think the song is really great, and this is not the case for every time I do one of these bounces for people who I work with, but I will just send like a piano vocal or a guitar vocal.
Yeah.
And just be like, this is the song.
Yeah.
If you know, here it is.
It's the work tape.
Right. It's the work tape. Right. And it's like this is the song, like and I'm not gonna say like I think it sucks.
Yeah.
Or there's times when it's like, you know, we'll do a song and I'll be like, because it's happened where I'm like, oh man, this verse is dope, but like everything else is crap. I will say like, hey guys, like I can send a bounce, but maybe we get back in because I think there's something special here, and like maybe we get back in and try and do it. I don't know, you guys want to take that controversial question? If not, you don't have to.
I mean, I think you kind of nailed it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think if you know that it's weak sauce, which honestly, like this part I was saying earlier about like really trying to take some temperature control of the room, like steer the song idea to something different if you know it's gonna be bad.
Try to not make a shit record.
Yeah, like and honestly, like when you get to a certain level, like you know, you don't have time for bad songs. Right. You don't have time. Like I have records to work on. I have, maybe I'm taking this right because the band's in town and I have this day and I really want to work with this band, but I'm in the middle of doing the thing. We gotta cook, baby. We gotta deliver. And so, and even if I'm giving me a few days or a week or something to get it done with other shit going on, like I want to, I got to be excited about it still personally to make sure that they get a good product. But if the song sucks, which is for me, like I don't have a lot of those where it's just like, oh man, this is so bad. I don't even. Thankfully, we're past those times. But I think you hit the nail on the head. Like I think even in the production sense, if you know that this is just, for it without a shadow of a doubt, like this is not great. This is not going to go anywhere past today.
And let's just move on with our lives.
Then don't work too hard on the production. Just get a piano vocal, guitar vocal, be done with it.
Right, and just and just get it out. This question is actually kind of adjacent, and I think it is a really good question. Instagram user Brandon Maker, I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry Brandon, asked, navigating not wanting to take a bad song past the day one bounce when the artist wants to. How do you guys go about navigating the situation?
Hope that they have a producer that they use a lot.
Yeah, right.
They can just take over. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll take the writing credit. Well, fine, but someone else can.
How much am I getting paid? Is the question.
Right, yeah, that's another question.
That's the manager's favorite answer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Brandon here, I think what it is it's those two things, right? Like money is important. As a producer, it feels gross to say, but like if someone's going to pay my fee, like I'm going to do it. I'm going to deliver. If in cases when it's, how it is so much in the LA, Nashville, Toronto writing scene where it's like you're with artists and they're like they're not sure they want to release it, they want to make sure, which I get, they want to hear a bit more done before it comes out, and you're just like not into it. I navigate it the same way that I do, where if I don't think I'm the right producer for it, and I'll say the same exact thing where it's like, hey, I think the song is great, but like I don't know if I can nail this for you. Like I will send you whatever I need to send you, and like we should find someone else to do this because I think they'll kill it. And I think if like you make it in more that light, where like you never want to be a dick and tell the artist like, I think the song sucks, I don't want to work on this, right? But I think, and especially like if you want to facilitate, be like, hey, like I can reach out to some people, you know, whatever. I think that's the way to go about it, is just be like, I think someone else should do this for the better of the song.
You have to also ask, like, exactly what you said. It's like, what is the goal of this project? Because there's a lot of people who approach me who are not, I want to say like they're industry adjacent, but they're not per se in the industry. So they're not like necessarily signed, or like they don't have a marketing plan. They don't have I always want to know, like, what is the plan to promote this? Right. So if there's no plan or whatever, like, and you're not signed, or my time is precious, and I get, you want to work with a professional producer, so you're going to pay me for the session, and I'm going to deliver to the best of my abilities for the day that you have me, you know. But if this is the song that you really want and you're gunning on it and you want my production on it, you can have it, and here's my fee and here's my price, you know, for having me for that day.
No, but yeah, I think it's always about figuring out what's best for you as a human and a producer. Like, how much do I love something? Like, will I personally do something for like less money up front if I really fuck with it? Like, absolutely.
Every day.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Totally.
and then take more on the back end still. Like, everything's flexible, but yeah, it's navigating that stuff is tough. Okay, next question here. Gold Chain Music.
Oh, love
From
him.
Instagram. Oh, do you know that person?
Of course.
Oh, I don't know them.
No,
They seem
either.
great.
Producer.
Says nothing crazy, and maybe we just get short answers here just because we're running low on time here. Nothing crazy. I'm just always curious how long it takes others on average to turn around a record. So we kind of spoke about
just like a song, just a single like.
I'm thinking we'll keep it with like the first bounce of a song, right? So we kind of spoke about it, but like just like what's your quick answer, Andrew? How on average?
It's like I said earlier. It depends on how long it takes to write the song and get the song correct. Before I am a producer first, but my priorities are song before the production. Because if you have a great song that works on a piano or guitar, chances are when I spend a good day on it and make it amazing with a full production, it's going to sound amazing. But it's just, you know, it's genre dependent. I'm kind of lean more in the alt and the rock space. So if we're doing something like that, I can probably do it like this literally within the same day that we wrote it. I could probably do it. If it's something that's more pop or something that's maybe a little more challenging, or we're trying to do something new or different or interesting or compelling that maybe is fresh or new, I may want to, you know, a little more time with it. But I want to spend my time in the day getting all the things I need to make sure I can deliver something great. Yeah. And then sometimes maybe that might turn into, hey, can you come back and we can like do another day of just production on this? That does happen too. I'm doing that right now. I booked a couple production days for August to fill up for some of my writes I did last month, because the songs are so great. But I feel like me and the artist can just really get in and just get in, craft some interesting new sound for her. So it's just different. I know the answer is dumb. Every song's different, but like averagely within around 24 hours, hopefully, but within the week, hopefully at worst. Yeah. Hopefully.
Kayla?
Yeah, I'm the type of person that I hate when things pile up, and I'm doing sessions like every day. So I kind of treat, when I'm doing multiple sessions in a week, I kind of treat it like a songwriting camp where, okay, this is an opportunity, like bust your chops, like hone your skills, like let's go quick. So normally my turnaround is like night of, or sometimes, you know, if I have a really good rapport with the artist where like, you know, I'll constantly be like swiveling around in my chair. Like I'll be producing at the same time and writing the song at the same time. Often the artist will leave with it in the room, which is like what I always aim for. But latest usually target. Like night of, because I don't want to wake up with it on my plate the next day.
Yeah. You know, for me, I wish I could say 24 hours. Definitely not. I usually have it within 5 business days, but for the most part is within 48 to 72 hours. because I do, like I said, like I like to give myself that space to like come in with fresh ears. That's just kind of my process. That's how I like to do it. And I really try not to have it go past like those 5 business days, because once something is a week gone, it's so easy to just be like, well, they've been waiting for it for a week.
Right.
Sure.
What's another day? It's just like, and I know myself, and I'm like that, where it's like once it gets past me, it's just like I'm gonna keep fumbling it and whatever. So it's like I've been really good. I haven't let a song get over a week in quite some time.
Yeah. That's kind
Unless
of
it was
almost
like-
that's a rite of passage of being a good producer too, is you're going to inevitably do this for long enough where you are going to get the seasons where you overbook yourself, and you have to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
I have in a couple different times over the last handful of years or so. And you know, I'm still getting better at that. Sometimes things pile up. It's all just where it's a constant, I'm a work in progress always. But
Yeah.
but being able to like acknowledge that, that's just such a big thing. I think you're right. I think there's a certain, maybe everyone has a different day. For you, it sounds like you, Kayla, like for you, like you really got to do it within that week. It has to be done that within a week, or you don't like that feeling. Some people, like over the years, I've had times or seasons where I've gotten just really busy on other things, and some of these writes slip, these demos slip, and then it just takes a while. And I think it's just learning that discipline. It's like, hey, I know that, like, I remember when we wrote this a week or so, or whenever we were pretty hype on it. I know if I just open this up and just start noodling, I'm gonna get done. And that, you know, so yeah.
Love that. Last question. Soulhaven Project asks, print in the session or bounce to disc for your bounces?
Oh, like offline versus online bounce? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's like, because I print it in the session, and then I obviously, bounce it to the disc after.
I just do bounce to disc personally.
Yeah, bounce to disco. Yeah, always.
So here's my answer.
Sometimes sometimes online bounce, when we're on the room, we want to just listen with it cranked while it's bouncing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm printing my mix in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And I like to do that because, one, it's like I like to listen to it when I'm bouncing, because half the time I'm like, fucked up there. Got to fix that really quick.
Yeah.
I like it for that. But also I like it because it's like I can so quickly, when I'm producing it a week or so later.
Oh, reference.
And I'm working, I can so quickly reference back, the exact point where it is, and be like, I have fucked up. Like I lost something here. And since I've been doing that, it's just, I find I try and encourage everyone to do it. It is a little annoying. It is a little old school, but I think the reason is for that exactly, where you can so quickly go back to, like, I can go back to the version from a month ago in 2 seconds and just be like, it's in the playlist. I can just listen to it really quick, compare it very quickly back and forth to the old one. Because, sometimes you get people where they're like, yeah, man, like this version from, July 7th had a thing, and I can kind of compare it back and forth and be like, oh, in my low end was better on that version. So like I have to go back there, and I think it's really
that's super. I know a lot of people that do that. I actually I do that when I'm mixing the mix one state. Even if I don't do it within Pro Tools, even when I'll just import it after, and I just keep it there for reference. I do that when I'm mixing. Yeah.
I think it's good. I don't know. I like it. It's fun. I've been doing it only for the last like 3 or 4 years. It's not something I like. A lot of people who do it, like they came up from Pro Tools like 15, 20 years ago.
Or they didn't have the offline bounce.
Right. They didn't have the offline bounce. Right. And like me, it's just, I started doing it because a buddy recommended it to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I fuck with this really hard.
Good practice.
All right, we're going to close out the podcast here with the In the Bounce folder. This is something that you guys can tell our listeners here, something you're working on, you're excited about, a piece of gear. I said it earlier. It's like producer show and tell. It's like, I got this thing here. Kayla, I'll start with you. What's in your bounce folder?
Oh, you know what? Anytime I get a platform, I always want to plug artists that I'm working with. Who you may not know or who are up and coming. So signed to my record label, we've got this new artist. His name is Amari with 2 eyes. And his EP is coming out very soon. And he just booked his first tour, and he's got a beautiful story to tell. And his music is just great. And it's cool. It's really fun to work with him.
What's the genre? What's the genre vibe?
What we love about the genre is that it's kind of its own lane. It's kind of like pop punk, but also sugar pop at the same time.
Oh, I love that. I'm in.
Like a little bit of UK garage, which is...
Oh, I'm in. You're saying all the buzzwords I need to hear.
And his vocal, here's the kicker. His vocal sounds a lot similar to the tone of Kid Laroi. So think about all
Again,
that.
I'm in.
I'll send you guys a little sneak of the EP. I'm really proud of it. I produced it head to toe. I wrote on it head to toe.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I'm really, really pumped. And then I have another artist who I'm working with who is just on that cusp of like absolute stardom. Her name's Nicolina, and you should totally check her out. She's incredible.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I have a song coming out tomorrow actually with, I have a cut coming out tomorrow with a great up and coming artist also named Cassidy from Canada. And it's a collaboration with Deep End, who is a DJ. He's amazing.
So for our listeners, that means it's out already.
It's out already.
Saturday.
Yes, it's out already.
It's coming out Saturday. Well, this is coming out Saturday.
Yeah,
so
it's called Cell Phone.
It's already out.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. Did you guys hear? Yeah, no, it came out. I was just looking.
It came out, yeah.
Bieber's album.
Oh, Bieber's album.
Yeah,
no,
I didn't know. I didn't hear about this until about 10 minutes before.
No, yeah, same. It was like, I was like, oh, like, I guess he's dropping, it's a 21 song album.
All right. Well, we'll see what's going on with that.
I know. I see. I mean, yeah, well, I mean, it's Bieber. Of course, we're all going to listen to it. Whoa, no credits. They have not updated the credits.
It's so fresh. He just uploaded it from his hard drive.
I'm telling you, they probably just decided recently to put it up. Something must have happened. Something must have happened.
Well, we got some tea to dive into this weekend then. Awesome.
Crazy. Yeah. And Andrew, what's in your bounce folder?
Similar to Kayla, I love to just plug some people I think deserve some new ears. As of right now, as of a few minutes ago, there's a new John Harvey song that I got to produce and finish out, and it's awesome. If you love some super sick rock music that also is infused with a bunch of different little subgenres, every single he's done this year has had a little bit of something. It's all a little bit heavier rock, but they have little influences. One of them has a little hyperpop. One of them is like Linkin Park. This one's kind of like, if you ever heard of the band Bill Murray, which is starting to get a little popular now.
I love that name for a band.
Yeah, he's going on tour with them actually. This has a little bit of that vibe. Like the opening guitar part is absolutely insane. It's just these two acoustic parts that just sound like one sick, almost Midwest emo kind of vibe, but like really like Southern sounding. It's so sick. It's called Hacky Sack. The song's called Hacky Sack.
Sick.
Cool.
All one word with like an exclamation point.
I'm looking at it now. I'll listen to it after this too.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And then another artist as well. There's this band in Nashville called Dawn, Davvn, and it's spelled Dawn. It's pronounced Dawn, but that's how you spell it. They do like this kind of fun early 2000s, like really nostalgic, like pop rock, like think like Michelle Branch meets like almost like a little bit of Paramore, a little bit of all these like fun things that we all probably grew up listening to and loving. They have a new song coming out next week called Third Degree that is probably my favorite song that they've done. I've been working with them for years, and this is like probably my favorite thing. There's been a few songs I've really loved, and I feel like this one's really special. I'm really excited about that. It comes out next week. I have an EP that we just finished that's coming out later this fall too. But that, and then a non-music thing, or it is music but not an artist, more for the producers out there, because this is going to be helpful for probably a lot of people because it's relatively new and it's life-changing. We are now finally in the era of AI hitting a lot of these little fun standalone apps that are helping you do your imports and exports. Holy shit, my life is changing. I think Avid did some little deal with them. It's called Forte, Forte. I think if you're a Pro Tools user, they give you some little discount or a free trial, but it works for Logic as well. It handles all of your imports. So if you get stems for something, it can intelligently do, like, I don't know if you ever all used Stereo Monoizer before, or other little things for where you ever get stems. It's like it's stereo, but really it's just mono.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should. Yeah. I'm literally looking at this now.
It'll literally do the thing where it'll make it mono for you, and it'll go and up the track names for you.
Whoa.
And all this stuff, and then you literally, it's like magic. You watch it, like your Logic or Pro Tools session just start like filling up with everything and all organized. But for not a big deal for me because I have my own template for imports. I don't really use it too much for that. The export function though, literally changing my life. I understand that there was the one that Andrew Sheps kind of made with that. What's the name of that little?
SoundFlow.
The SoundFlow like script thing that Sheps kind of worked on that does kind of your stem bounces for you.
And you can walk away from your computer.
Yeah, well, Forte does that for Logic and Pro Tools. It literally is a child could learn how to do this. There is no knowledge of coding or scripting or anything involved. It literally just knows, oh, you have this session open in Pro Tools, and then it literally just shows you all your tracks. And smartly, because it knows how we are, it doesn't even show like your aux tracks, so you have like solo saved and stuff, because it knows that you want to bounce through it. and it knows you want to bounce through your mix bus. So all you do is you just check, you hit the little check box on each track, so like lead vocal 1, lead vocal 2, lead vocal bridge, and then you hit enter, like, what do you want this to be called? Lead vocal. And then just, you make your little list, spend about 5 minutes making your list, and then hit go, and you literally will watch your computer just magically bounce everything through your mix bus, everything. You can go to bed, you can go out to dinner, you can literally do anything with your life while you don't have to spend hours like we all have for many years babysitting your computer hitting bounce and solo.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. It's insane.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So,
Sick.
yeah.
Damn it, I keep fucking trying to start that. Okay, we're gonna wrap the pod here. You guys have been so amazing. A wealth of knowledge. Is that the right term? I don't know.
Sure.
But thank you to you guys. Thank you to our listeners, and take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Producer Points. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and share with fellow music enthusiasts. For an encore, check out our Spotify playlist featuring all the songs we've discussed on the show, giving you the perfect soundtrack to your creative journey. Additional audio and video editing for this episode was done by Nathan Rebello. Until next time, this is Justin Gabella.